Hello and welcome to this week's Gems of War Guild event planner. I am Guardian Namek, guild leader of Loot and Plunder. This week's focus is the boss killing event, and we are using Troops from Darkstone. And after running some numbers, here are the units you want to use. This is the team I plan on using. I'm going to be using the Thrall, Twisted Hag, Ocularian, and my unit with the new Miasmic Dirk, as it gives attack and life and then blesses. And bless is a nice little thing, and the extra life will keep this thing still alive. The reason I am using the Thrall, as it will be my main mana generator due to the immense amount of gems it can destroy. It can easily charge itself back up and help charge the rest of the team. The Twisted Hag is going to be a necessary requirement for this week, as it is the boss killing unit of the week, which means you also get double the points when you use a Twisted Hag. And then the Ocularian has some decent damage and can transform brown to green, which helps charge itself. Not too important. You can probably switch it out for most other offense units. You can also switch it out for Zerador, as he'll transform yellow to skull damage, which combined with the Miasmic Dirk, increasing attack, could be more useful. Now, if you're looking for other options for damage, some good options are going to be the Consort of Darkness. They won't be too useful early on, but later on, the high chance or decent chance to kill a target will be useful. At the lower levels, if you can get the Darkest Hunger trait, it means you can take out enemies fairly quickly just by matching purple. Therador also works good for damage, as they will be doing some decent amount of damage, akin to the Ocularian's damage, and then transforms yellow to skulls, which helps with more damage and skull busting damage. Akin to the Consort of Darkness, you can also use the Executioner, as they have a 10% chance to execute a target. Now it's fairly limited, and 10% of the time, not going to be very reliable, but it is another option. Some other options for mana generation, if you just don't want to use the Thrall, you can utilize the Blind Guardian, as they can drain mana from targets and explode gems based off of how much mana was drained. Quite useful. You're going to end up around the same amount of power as the Thrall, but if you are at a lower level where your magic is fairly low, this might end up being better. You can also use the Merchant Prince, as they are fairly simple, nice 8 mana cost, and then it destroys 15 gems in a cross shape, so very simple. Not as good as the others, but it's still a very easy unit to get. If you do a banner with 1 blue, 1 brown, pretty much even if you don't get any mana surges, you'll charge him up in 2 matches. You can also use Yarrow, as he converts yellow to purple, which is quite nice, but then also you'll create 2 more purple gems for each enemy with a status effect. So not only is he turning yellow to purple, he's then going to most of the time going to give you 8 more purple gems, which, unless you get really unlucky, will most likely give you a bonus turn. However, he also uses yellow, so trying to charge him up afterwards is a little bit more difficult. Not impossible, but he's not as good with the self-charging. But he is still quite useful if you don't have any of the others, but most likely you do have the Thrall, as the Thrall is a common unit. If you need some extra durability or the ability to summon meat shields, you can utilize the Watchmother, as they give other allies some life and then summons a minion. Not going to be too useful for most people, but if you're needing the extra durability, it's going to be one of your best choices from Darkstone. And then you can also use Carmina if you wish to go more of a skull busting route for damage, as they will create 4 skulls, 4 doom skulls, 4 uber doom skulls, and For each enemy, or no, it's only if an enemy is death marked, not each. Create one more of each skull, which is fairly easy to have an enemy death marked, and then you can easily be making 15 skulls and hopefully get a match. There's a chance you don't, but you have a decent chance. I hope this info was helpful for both starting and veteran players of Gems of War. If it was helpful to you, give that subscribe button a click, as I plan on doing these every Monday, both to help my guild and for fun. Until next week, have fun plundering.